Hello and welcome to the Rock Your Voice podcast. Vocal coaching tips that will transform your voice, interviews that will inspire, industry guidance, and so much more. Without further ado, let's get on with the show. Hello. Today we've got a really interesting topic that we're looking at, and I absolutely love digging into the psychology behind singing. This is going to be, I'm going to call this Psychology of Singing Part 1 because I feel like this is going to be a theme that we come back to over and over again because it comes up daily in my lessons. Now, when I started singing and learning technique, I thought that a great performance relied on really good technique and accuracy and perfectly clean notes and singing really nicely, I guess. But over time, and having seen some amazing performances and experienced live music, both from on the stage and watching performers, it's really become clear to me that digging into the emotion of a song is just as important as having good technique. I feel that you can have impeccable technique, you can sing something just so perfectly, but if there's no feel or emotion behind it, in my personal opinion, that to me is really dull and really boring. Sure, it's a nice thing maybe to have in the background, but if you're watching a performer or if you're really getting into a song or feeling lyrics or the melody, if they don't have emotional attachment to what they're delivering to you, you're going to just it's background noise in my opinion. So whenever you're singing a song, and we're going to look at this in immense depth in another episode, but when you're singing, don't be afraid to connect to the emotion and help that to really drive your technique, to really dig you into the big notes, to really get your sound really rocking, because that's what's going to drive your sound, is your emotion and your connection to your song. Don't just sing like a wet blanket and just stand there and just present a song. You have to feel it and perform it and be true to the message that you want to deliver to your audience. So really dig into that and think about that next time you're singing, because that's the reason we all love music. It makes us feel something. It makes us want other people to feel something. So make sure you're connecting to your songs. But like I said, that's a whole other episode. We're going to really dig into that later on. I want to look at the psychology of singing that I see every day with new clients. And you might be listening to this thinking, it's too late for me to start singing, or I did choir when I was a kid and I wasn't very good and my choir teacher told me I'm not good, or my brothers teased me because I couldn't sing in tune, or any excuse that you have that is stopping you from doing something that brings you joy, in this instance, singing or music. I want you to just let it go. So many students come to me and they're generally older people and they have put it off their entire life because of something someone said to them maybe when they were 6 or 12 or 20, and here they are in their 50s, 60s, whatever, and they're like, I'm doing it. And they'll be sitting there sweating, shaking, freaking out. And they're like, I'm finally doing it. And my biggest joy is to help them enjoy the experience of finally doing it. I feel so much happiness and so much joy when I see someone come in my studio because they know deep down inside that they love singing, they get great pleasure from music, and finally, whoever it was that put them off or scared them, whenever it was, they're finally forgetting that, they're walking through the door and they're giving it a shot because they deserve it. And it gets me really passionate. So if you are listening and if you have put it off because you have something in the back of your mind from something that someone said to you years ago, or you heard someone say years ago, or you might even not be a very good singer right now, That's fine. We've all got to start somewhere. So just start. If it's something that brings you joy, maybe you do need to tune up your ear training a little bit and work on your pitch and your placement and get things a bit cleaned up. But these are all things that can happen. These are all things that can be done really easily. So don't waste any more time, especially if it's something that you really love to do. I would love to welcome you into the studio and show you how you can achieve so many things in such a short space of time. Within an hour, we can have you singing songs and just enjoying your voice and letting go of whatever that psychological block is that has held you back until now. So I want to commend everyone who has come into the studio and say thank you so much for your bravery, because no matter what level these people are at, I've had people come in who are singer-songwriters, who play open mics, who play jam sessions, who play on tours, who have been in the studio, who have been doing all kinds of work, and they are still nervous in a one-on-one situation with this crazy British girl staring at them and making them create weird sounds. So it's a bizarre situation. You don't do that kind of thing every day. So the psychology behind that is a whole other thing too. But just trust that if you get joy from singing, and if you love music, and if you would love to confidently sing along with a song, you can do it. The one thing that will really hold you back from improving your voice is your brain. I see this daily, whether it's students I've been working with for years or whether it's a brand new client, and just convincing them, okay, you're here right now. Tell your brain to take a little break for half an hour or an hour or whatever. And we're not going to listen to your brain friend who's going to be sitting there judging you, who's going to be panicking that you can't hit the note, who's going to worry that you're running out of air or that you look stupid or you sound silly. We're going to just go away that voice and you're gonna show yourself what your instrument can do, because it is astounding what the human voice can do. If you have children, or if you are ever around kids that are laughing and screeching and giggling, or even, heavens forbid, you hear a child having a tantrum at the mall, listen to the notes that voice can hit. You will be amazed when you think of the sounds that that child can create you think of it in a melodic context and range-wise, the highs and the lows that voice will create right there on the floor in the grocery store or in the playground when they're chasing each other and giggling. Listen to those notes in a melodic context as well. Try and catch yourself if you're at a concert or a hockey game or somewhere where you are cheering, you're doing the woo, all that kind of stuff. Next time you hear yourself doing one of those, think of it in a melodic context and see, oh, my voice just went really high and really strong with zero effort. So if you were to let your voice move as freely when you're singing as you were when you're just having fun, laughing with friends, someone scares you and you scream, your voice can do really cool things if you're not necessarily locking up, getting tense, thinking, I've got to hit that note, this is really hard, and your throat gets tense and your mouth gets dry and you start sweating, and then that voice comes back in saying, you're making a fool of yourself and you're going to sound stupid and your voice is going to crack. So just let that go and let your voice move freely. That is one of the biggest roadblocks, is just locking up and worrying and thinking and judging. So try to release that every time you sing. Next time you're in the car and you've got the tunes cranked and you're having a great time and you're not thinking about it, and then that voice creeps in, I want you to replace that with my annoying voice saying, no, just sing, have fun, relax, let it go, enjoy it, and just really enjoy the freedom of what your voice can do without the constriction of nervousness, anxiety, and all of that kind of tension. Just let it go. Now, everyone gets butterflies, everyone gets fear and anxiety from time to time. Some people on different levels, some people the idea of standing on a stage is the most terrifying and horrific thing for some people. Other people, it's their dream. But still, even those people will be standing in the wings, ready to go on, and will have that nervousness, that anxiety, that voice in the back of their head saying, okay, have we got this? Have we got this? The one way to start to eliminate that huge fear or just those little butterflies is practice. Doing something regularly will make you better at it. Now, we all get nervous and we all hate doing things we're not good at, which is also why people on their very first time coming into my studio will be freaking out and also will be not feeling comfortable. It's not necessarily a pleasant experience for some people on their very first time coming to their very first singing lesson because they worry they're not going to be good at it. It's a new skill. You're not good at something you've never really learned before. And we all take for granted that we carry our voice around with us for our whole life. You've had your voice, so we assume that you should be able to use it to a certain degree. But not everybody knows how to use it properly. And that's a big thing, is appreciating that your voice is an instrument. It's like me putting a piano in front of you for the very first time. You're going to want to press the keys and you'll realize that one end the notes are higher, one end the notes are lower. You have to move your hands around to actually achieve the different sounds. And you can hit it harder and get a louder sound, or you can hit it gently and you'll learn the instrument and how it reacts to how you're manipulating it. The exact same thing applies to the human voice. It is an instrument. It does different things depending on how you manipulate it, or how much air you put through, how much pressure you're using, what placement you're going to do. So really think of your voice as an instrument and come back to thinking about, kids laughing, or when you're at a concert, you can create such amazing sounds with your voice. It's just learning how to manipulate them correctly and make them sound really cool when you're singing. So trust what your instrument can do. Tell your brain friend to take a little sit down and then just go explore your voice. A really an interesting singer actually is, I love Jewel. Her live stuff is really cool to check out if you're looking for a vocalist who does some really interesting stuff. It might not be something that you like, but it's a really good example of someone using their voice as an instrument and creating different tones and textures and sounds and emotions with their voice. So Jewel, if you go on YouTube or whatever and just type in Jewel live, there's loads of really cool stuff of hers, and I really feel like she's a good example of using your voice as an instrument. Again, you might not like what she's doing with it. It might not sound pretty, especially if you look her up yodeling. She's a very good yodeler, which is something I've always really wanted to do. Completely useless skill, as are most of the skills that I have in my life. However, yodeling would be really cool to do. So anyway, check out what she can do with her voice, because she can do really cool stuff. Lots and lots to think about there, but I really want you to remember, go back to basics. Think about what you love about singing. Think about why you love singing. Think about the joy you feel when you're releasing all of the emotion or the power, or just cranking a song that you really love and just having fun. Please don't let anything stop you from pursuing that if you want to learn more about it. Don't feel like you're going to be judged, or that voice in your head is telling you you're silly, or it's too late, or you're too old. You don't necessarily have to be a rock star to be a great singer. You might not want to be going on tour. You might not want to be recording albums, but you might want to be. And there's no reason that you can't. If you're passionate about your songs and your music, do what you want to do with it and don't let anyone get in your way. That is my rant, and I'm very passionate about it. It just really breaks my heart. And I see a lot of older people come into the studio and they just say, I wish I'd done this sooner. And I wish they had too, because it's not, once you get over it and you find the right coach and you find the right situation and you're comfortable and you get over that initial nervousness, which we all have when we're doing something new. It's very natural and it's very normal. Once you get over that, you're going to have some fun and you're going to learn some really great new skills, and you're going to be amazed at what your voice can do when you are relaxed and when you do trust what it can do. Just remember that doing things over and over will make you more confident, and doing things correctly over and over, which is where lessons and coaching or, understanding how your voice works will really help you, will make you better at it. A vocal coach in Nashville, his name's Buzzy Orange, really cool guy. I did some sessions with him a few years back, and he drilled it into me, because I was always practice makes perfect, practice makes perfect. No, practice makes permanent. If you practice something over and over and over and you practice it incorrectly, you're going to start doing it permanently that way, or you can cause damage. So practice makes permanent. So practicing correctly, you're going to have permanent correct technique. So thanks, Buzzy, for that one. I always try and remember that when I'm practicing and I'm being lazy with my practice. I'm like, eek, yeah, no, I need to polish that a little bit. Then, yeah, there's my brain friend talking to me too. So yes. I also learnt today a very interesting thing. It's called, they are called ants, which are automatic negative thoughts. And every human is predisposed to these. It's just something that happens. I'm not sure whether it's because of when we were early cave people and it was like, don't go out of the cave because you're going to get eaten or bad things are going to happen. But naturally, our body has this kind of protective thing within us, which is a good thing. But that's kind of developed to a psychological issue where we have an opportunity in front of us. We're not immediately drawn to, this is going to be great. I'm going to really succeed at this. World domination. Woohoo, let's go. Our brains are predetermined to go to, hang on a second, something could go really wrong. You might screw it up. Are you qualified enough? This is really dodgy. Watch yourself. So we're more inclined to naturally go in the direction of the negative than the positive. So it's really, really important to try your very best, and it's really, really hard to rule out the negative speak and the negative thoughts. And you have to actually work towards building up that positive attitude to start to smooth that out and make your life a little bit easier because it's common. Everyone has this, everyone does this. It's a natural thing. It's actually part of our survival, I think. So when you're going to sing, the natural thing for many people is, my voice is going to crack. I'm not going to hit the note. I'm going to trip up on stage. Something awful is going to happen. So that's the natural route for our brains to take. So we need to change that. You need to think positively and you need to think with joy and you need to think, what if that does happen? Worst case scenario, whatever. My voice cracked. So what? If I'm singing with emotion and confidence and power and my voice cracks, the audience is going to think that was a really emotional thing that just happened, not necessarily a technical flaw. So don't let these ants come in, these automatic negative thoughts, and take over. We naturally have to work towards positive outcomes, which is a very unfortunate thing about being human. We have to, for example, if you don't work towards building strength, you become weaker. I'm trying to think of another example that's similar to that, but every day-to-day life, if you don't work towards a positive outcome, the negative will take over unless you're working towards something. So the same goes for singing. If you want a beautiful voice, you're going to probably want to practice that and fine tune things. And even people with natural, stunning, gifted voices, training them and taking them to the next level is always, there's nothing wrong with that. You might be able to hold a tune, you might sound great, but if you want to sound better, go for it, learn some stuff. There is so much out there to help you learn, and I'm going to be publishing an awful lot of audio practice materials, so you'll be able to practice in the comfort of your own home. You won't have to go through a traumatic experience of coming into the studio feeling nervous and freaking out. You can start doing it in your own space and build your confidence. It's one of the number one fears, is singing in public or singing in front of someone. So don't feel bad if you're terrified of singing. If you love singing by yourself, great. If you sing by yourself and you don't think you sound so good or you judge yourself, just start working on building confidence and figuring out what it is that you're not sure about and start to find some answers, because there are answers. If you're not happy with the sound of your voice, you can do so many things to improve that. So any questions that you have, I would love to answer any questions. You can send me an email anytime. My email is info@rockitcalgary.com, and that's ROCKIT Calgary.com. Or you can send it to emma@rockyourvoicepodcast.com. So shoot me an email. I would love to help you. And just don't let your brain hold you back. If you're a performer, if you're a singer-songwriter, if you do still get those butterflies, if you do still have that anxiety, like I said before, just doing something over and over is going to help you, A, get better, and B, build the confidence that you're good at it. You're going to start to rule out that, you do it 10 times and your voice cracks or pops or something happens twice. The other times that you do it, you're going to start to build more confidence in those, because you're going to get better. You're going to be able to trust your voice. You're going to build your confidence. And when something weird happens, or something pops or cracks or breaks or weird stuff, it just happens. Things happen. Life is life. But if you're doing your best to help yourself build your confidence and learn more about your instrument, then you are on the right track. And you won't feel silly if you stand up and you crack and your voice does something weird, because you're working towards improving it and you're building your confidence. And you know what? You're doing more than most other people. So good for you. I really hope this has helped you build confidence. Do remember that so many people are so scared to sing, but they love to sing. So try and release that fear and step into a place where you can really enjoy doing something that you love and that brings you joy. And I really hope you can do that. And I really hope that this has helped you to take a step in that direction. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you next time.